Okay, it seems that the game will start soon, so we'll have ChillerView with the ptolemies and TetudinhoSedutor as the gauls. So both of these players are quite new on the 0D scene, but they are veteran StarCraft players, so they are really quick learning the stuff here, and they are improving quite a lot lately. So let's take a look at the map here for TetudinhoSedutor. It does not seem that he have any extra food, and this might be the same for ChillerView, since this is balanced mainland. Okay, so ChillerView going for the women first, while TetudinhoSedutor doing the same as well, pretty standard so far. Tetudinho going for the berries upgrade, while ChillerView is opting to not start the farmstead as soon as possible. And he's starting the cavalry now. I'm streaming, man. Okay. And ChillerView is opting for the cab first, so he is quite aggressive at the start of the game, even if he does not have any hunt. But the chickens will end up quite soon, so he'll have to have a better plan later on. Well, at the same time, TetudinhoSedutor is still gearing up with the women. This might be a little bit troublesome for him. Let's see if he scouts these camels coming. Now for ChillerView, now he goes with the 5 women. And this is strong, because usually people finish the chickens first before they go out for scouting. This could be really strong for ChillerView. And so far TetudinhoSedutor has only went for women. So let's take a look at what happens here. But ChillerView will be able to put quite a bit of a pressure at the early game. So far, Tetudinho was not able to scout this incoming attack. And now finally going for the 5 skirm soldiers, but this will not be soon enough to fight this cavalry. Fortunately, TetudinhoSedutor has still a little bit of a bank, so he might be able to make some farms here, but he won't be able to afford the sentry towers if he needs to. So this is quite troublesome for him. But if he defends well, he can establish himself for the mid game. Yeah, and TetudinhoSedutor goes for the farms here. This is a good move. Now, what TetudinhoSedutor could do here is place sentry here, and the range of the camels won't reach this wood line until they go to the end, to these final trees here. So this could be an option for defense for Tetudinho. But at the same time, superposition Tetudinho is actually committing a lot to this defense, and this is not really good for his economy. And ChillerView might be able to get his echo ramping up. Now this sentry tower, I'm not sure about this location. I would position them probably here and here, but it defends the minerals and also the farms, I guess. And Tetudinho is idling the CC.
DSD?
But so far he didn't lose any single unit, so that's pretty good for him. Even though ChillerView has done indirect damage by distracting the units. Now he could make these women build more farms. Yeah, he's still being distracted by this. So a sentry tower here would be a good location. The camels wouldn't be able to reach the wood line. And probably more spearmen as well, because they are quite tanky for the camels to destroy them.
DSD?
Now he could just garrison the soldiers here on the sentries, but baiting is good too. Now, what is the follow-up for ChillerView? Well, since he's doing only cav, he's doing a few women as well. In this position, I think doing skirmishers is quite strong, because if the opponent goes for a counter rush, you at least have the prevention for that, and also you use the metal, since you don't need to use as much food and wood for those units. And ChillerView is keeping up with the pressure.
ESD?
Now, what I would like to see from Tetudinho would be a little bit of more spearmen. Also, when this wood line runs out, he will be exposed again, and this wood line will not be as easy to defend. So, what he could do here was to make more farms, to have more food income, and make cavalry to deter this cavalry. Because it's the only real solution to the cav problem. The camo archers, they are still overpowered against skirm cavalry, but you can at least deter the camo archers from doing too much more damage. A sentry here probably would be a good location. I think here maybe to try and secure this wood line later on. But as you can see, this indirect damage that ChillerView has slowed down Tetudinho quite a lot. And Tetudinho is not being able to focus on his production. As you can see, the CC is idle, he's not producing units. And he's actually going for the early P2, so Fanatics could be an option here. But for this amount of cavalry, ChillerView was able to impact a lot of damage. So far, he's still not doing skirmishers, a little bit of idle time in this barracks. He's just committing fully to cavalry. I mean, this is good. I probably would like to see a little bit more of skirmisher action. He 6 farms, yeah, it's good. It's a good farm amount for producing cavalry. I'd probably like to see at least up to 8 farms until 100 pop, so he can boom up the cavalry population. Now this exposed location would be a better target. I'm not sure about this one here. He's doing a little bit of damage, indirect damage with the wood, and that is good because Tetudinho is strapped for wood at the moment. So yeah, it's working. But I think an easier target would probably be the food income. Excuse me. Because here, he's in the range of the towers. A little bit of a miss micro. And ChillerView is still not doing infantry. He's just going for the cavalry from the barracks. Okay, he's doing some skirms now. Yeah, this is a good location to harass. Yeah, he's not doing the attack move thing, and he's being targeted by CCC. I guess he's busy with the macro here. What you can do, you can just select the units and attack move this way, and then you set to stand ground. So for example, the camos won't go into the CC range. Because, for example, if you leave the cavalry aggressive in this location here, first they will try to target buildings, and second, when the women flee, the camel archers will pursue them and get into the CC range. So it's optimal to just leave them here on the stand ground stance. And Tetudinho is still with the idle CC. All this micro that he's doing is impacting his production a lot. So this might be a very one-sided game. ChillerView a bit with the CC idleness as well. And he's going for the P2 now. Now, why did TetudinhoSedutor go for P2? Oh yeah. Well, he's going for the stone, so instead of fanatics, it seems that he was going for the slingers because they have bigger range to deal with the camo archers. I mean, they are decent against camo archers, but they are not a solution for them at all. Camo archers can still harass quite effectively, even if they are slingers, but they are, yes, more difficult to micro if your opponent has slingers.
Yeah, see?
And ChillerView is also forcing a lot of buildings that otherwise Tetudinho wouldn't like to build at this moment and invest in resources and idle time from the workers, like this defense tower here. And he can even harass the workers here and possibly deny the tower construction altogether. But as you can see, even if he didn't kill a huge amount of units, they are doing a very high amount of indirect damage. Mostly to Tetudinho also not being able to micro here and keep track of his economy. As you can see, the CC idle. And at the same time, ChillerView is doing a good job keeping tab of his economy. But this is not a good location to harass. I mean, if you can leave the units until they have the health just in the threshold for not them to die, it's good to keep the harass, but you have to keep track of them.
Yeah, see?
And ChillerView with the high food imbalance, because he is not... He stopped committing to the cavalry. But now he should retreat these camels. They are quite damaged. And slingers can defend quite well as well. But as you can see, a really good micro here. Taking the damaged units at the last moment. But he ends up losing too. And Tetudinho can brief a little bit more, but as you can see, his economy is very damaged. He's letting the CC idle, having gathered garrison units in the CC, and forced a lot of buildings that were an investment that he would not do otherwise. But at the same time, Tetudinho, he has been doing a good job with the resources balances. Keeping in mind that he has to micro the camels. He has a lot of techs for the phase 2 upgrades. And I think what he could do here would be an aggressive military colony. I think that would be a good move. Especially since he probably already knows the amount of damage that he did. Maybe... Let's see... This... Well, he would be scouted if he went here. This could be a good location. In the middle here, probably the safest. He still could project a lot of map control here. He could deny this wood as well. Now 14 cavalry. Also, the military colony would be a enable ChillerView to invest into spear cavalry, and with the merc upgrades they are quite tanky and quite good to help with this fight. And a little bit of damaged units that he didn't let in the CC to heal.
EST?
Yeah, they can't fight this. I thought that Tetudin was going for the sword cav. That would be a much safer option to defend these camels. But yeah, you can't really fight the camel archers here. Now, it is nice to see this harass. I would like to see from ChillerView just more of an aggressive military colony, because it enables you with so many options. Options to deny the wood lines, to project map control, also recruit mercenary units, make it, well, totally disable the ability from Tetudinho of actually making cav to combat these camels. Because, for example, if Tetudinho went for melee cavalry, they would be much more effective against these camel archers. But 13, it would be hard. You would have to have at least 8 to 10 melee cavalry to even stand a chance against the camel archers. And still, ChillerView could micro really well. But still, I think if he makes the military colony and recruits melee cavalry, he totally deprives the ability of Tetudinho from every recovery on this game. I don't see many options for Tetudinho here. And he's going for the slingers. Okay, what's he going to do here?
EST?
Maybe try to defend this and probably take this wood line. But as you can see, for 12 cavalry, he's making Tetudinho commit 30 units. And that's a lot. It's 30 units that are not gathering economy, being damaged by cavalry, and having to be microed, which is a much worse problem for Tetudinho since he's not actually keeping track of his economy well. I'm not sure why he does not recruit from the CC.
EST?
I think that he does not like to recruit for... yeah. He schedules it only for women. Now, Tetudinho going for the push. But as you can see here, we have quite a bit of damaged units and ChillerView with almost double infantry population. So I would imagine if he would find a good spot, he could do a little bit of damage. Especially if he targets the women here. If he scouts first and then targets the women. But yeah, ChillerView should be able to see this. He's not reacting yet. Yeah, he's reacting now. I think he sees that. But he wouldn't need to go for them spread out like this. He could just go for the formations. It would be a little bit more effective. But he will still probably win this fight. The pikemen with the camel archers are a very good combination. And going for the P3 now. Okay, so for example, suppose that you put these camel archers here, aggressive mode. They will attack these units and pursue them as they flee. If you just put them here and put on stand ground, they will attack while these units are in range, but when they get out of range, the camels will not pursue. So for example, they would, if they don't pursue, they don't get in the tower range, they don't get in the CC range. And this is effective for you to, for example, harass here without having to micro everything. Because if you just leave the camels here, they will attack the human, the woman will flee, and the camel will pursue them and get into the CC range. And that's not what you want. So just put the camel in range of, for example, these two fields and let them on stand ground. Let me know if that's clear. Okay, going for the military colony now.
EST?
Now Tetudinho with the 5 barracks, with the military colony. He's going for the Cleopatra. I mean, it's a good hero if you're going aggressive, but with the ptolemies, I think the Ptolemy is really the best choice you can make because of spam. Yeah, I can talk. So you can use with Skirmcav. So for example, if you want the units to guard the location and don't want them to come here, for example, if there was hunt here and you know you have much more cav than that and you want to secure this spot, for example, you can put the cavalry here, and if the opponent's cavalry comes to hunt, you kill them and they don't pursue back to the towers. So you can still do that with the other units, but it's much more relevant for these dynamics of the camo archers. Now this is finally a good fight for Tetudinho here, but the stage for defending against cavalry has already expired. Now I'm curious why ChillerView is not going for the fortress here. He could make a fortress and make a very aggressive push into here, while also probably making an outpost here. I guess this unit was intended to build this outpost just to track any incursions from Tetudinho. At the same time, let's see. I'm a little bit concerned that ChillerView is not doing swordsmen. So for example, as ptolemies, especially with the merc upgrade, and okay, so we have a small bit of an incursion here from Tetudinho, but ChillerView has units to defend here. Well, anyway, getting back to the point I was making, with ptolemies, you can make the merc upgrade and also the Ptolemy, which decreases the cost by 35% of units, and spam swordsmen, you know? Swordsmen, they are really strong for their bank. They are really effective. So any situation that you have in which you are able to make swordsmen, I think you should use that. And they are the same cost for ptolemies as skirmishers. In the long run, I think making swordsmen would be good. And already knowing that Tetudinho is in P3, he would be prepared for any rams that comes to his base. So for example, the only anti-siege capabilities for ptolemies is really the swordsman, unless you count siege as well. You can make the Ptolemy hero and defend against runs, but yeah, I think swordsman would be the safe choice here. Now what is Tetudinho doing? Okay, Tetudinho has a fort. The problem for Tetudinho here is that this run will not be able ever to break this location here, especially in the situation that he's in right now. So what he could do was to gather a lot of rams and hope for ChillerView not be able to have any anti-ram capability on his base and do a sneaky CC destroy here. But as you can see here, ChillerView is fully capable of defending this at the moment. Even if it does not have any anti-ram, slingers and pikemen can destroy this single ram. But yeah, I would like to see more swordsmen from ChillerView. ChillerView even has gone up to will to fight, so this will be a hard game for him to lose at the moment. Now going for katas, I guess, is the safe way, especially when you have superior infantry population. but elephants would be a lot faster. So with catapults, you can just park your catapults here, and since you have superior infantry firepower, you can just leave them be here and defend against any attempt of muster and defense. Even though I think the runs would still be able to quite effectively destroy these catapults, especially since ChillerView does not have any swordsmen. Okay, and this incursion from Tetudinho is still doing a little bit of damage, but not enough at this stage. Especially, well, he has 18. Yeah, he could clear out some mines here. He could clear out this mine. He could clear out this wood line. He could do a lot of damage with this infantry. So this is a good way to try and get back to the game. No, I'm not sure about getting too close to the fort here. He does not gain too much from staying here. What he could also do was spam another fort here, deny a little bit more of wood, be able to scout a little bit more, exert more map control, and keep pressuring this side here instead of the fort here. So for example, you make the fort, the secondary fortress here, and just make walls surrounding it, and then you just siege on this side. And it would be a little bit more offset from this fort here. You would be able to see more incursions from this side. The opponent would have to travel all the way around to be able to sneak around you. And you could just make an outpost here to be sure that you are safe. But Tetudinho was able to do good damage here. He recovered a lot of kills here. But this is still not enough. And with this catapult, this should seal the deal here. Now, three rams, I think, could be able to kill these catapults if they would not target the rams themselves, the catapults. Let's see what will happen here. If ChillerView focus the rams with the catapults, I think he can kill them. But yeah, they were already damaged before, so they were able to kill just one or at most two catapults, or maybe not even one, because of the pathfinding. Yeah. Okay, he will be able to take this one, maybe this one as well. Okay, and we have the resign. So a good matchup for ChillerView. I like that he was able to do a lot of damage with the camels first. I think it's a little bit tricky to make it work. I think if you have an opponent that can muster a good defense, can at least make some cavalry to deter the camels, they could defend well, and then ChillerView economy would be very impaired. And if they have a counter rush, since ChillerView goes for only women, this is very risky. But still, really good game. Good job. Now for Tetudinho, the biggest problem was that he had a lot of idle time. He overcommitted a lot in the defense. But I think that he did a decent job. The problem was that he was not able to multitask the defense micro as well as keeping tabs of his economy. He did something that I really like to see was the cavalry counter rush that he did. He could have cleared off all these locations here with his cavalry, but that would be a little bit too late. And yeah. Okay, so far unrated. Schweinepriester great for the Romans. Okay. If ChillerView goes for the cav first, he could do a good amount of damage against this strategy from ChillerView, since he goes for the earlier camels and he often does not make infantry, as well using the ptolemies advantage of being able to use the metals as resources for building infantry, even though they are quite able to defend well. But I think that, yeah, I think the Spear Cav start could be a good one. And even if he does not start with the Spear Cav start, he could still defend quite well and scout and see if ChillerView is actually doing camels, and then attack back, make a few melee cavalry to defend. Okay, so what we have here, desert biome. Schweinepriester as the Romans. Both does not seem to have a lot of extra food. Actually none. ChillerView with the fruit tree here. And also Schweinepriester with the fig tree here. No extra hunt nearby. No extra hunt nearby as well. Yeah, this is an interesting map. There's no food whatsoever in the map except for the fig trees and maybe some scattered berries. Okay, we have a patch of camels here. And a patch of berries here, but it's quite late to get in the P1. So let's see the start. ChillerView going for the Camo Archers. While Schweinepriester already started with the tree cav. Now what you want to do with this tree cav is going for the berries and deny all food income from Schweinepriester. And since the melee cavalry are very resilient to pierce damage, they have a lot of armor. So for example, as you can see here, they have 3 armor pierce, whereas regular cavalry has 1 pierce. So they are quite resilient to arrows and any kind of pierce armor. So he can deny these berries, probably kill a few women here, but the idea with the early spear cavalry rush is really to deny all food income, and they can do it quite well inside the CC range. Now, what I would like to see more of Schweinepriester here is staying nearby. Do not fling this, because the Spear Cavalry really can tank a lot of shots from these camels. They won't be effective at all against them, and he can just go away when the Spear Cavalry are actually damaged. After, for example, 50% of damage. He should be able to be denying these bears for a lot more time. Killing this woman would be nice, but with micro they can garrison in the house quite quickly. Okay, 2, that's a good number. And he can... yeah, he should have come back here to kill more women. Okay. Now this is a good indirect damage. And as you can see, the economy damage that Schweinepriester has impacted on ChillerView has made him have a better boom. And he can defend this for Archer Cav quite easily with the Spear Cav. Now Schweinepriester should be starting farm soon, especially since he does not have the Bears upgrade. Yeah, he's doing a little bit of that. Possibly to make a little more Spear Cav to be able to defend this, and well, he will be able to defend this if he macros correctly, but also being able to damage the ChillerView's economy a lot more. And as you can see here, ChillerView is continuing to make women, so this would be highly effective against him. He wouldn't even need to make these sentry towers here, but yeah, he wouldn't have to do that. I think I would like to see more Spear Cav from Schweinepriester, because he would be able to have one group tracking these camels. A little bit of a mismicro here, he could have maybe sniped one. And also have another group denying all economy from ChillerView, especially because ChillerView goes very greedy at the start when he goes for camels. Schweinepriester with the wood upgrade. Now he has left the scene here. I'm not sure it's quite safe yet, because you still have to send your skirmishers and swordsmen to deal with these camels. So I would like to see at least one cavalry here to defend against this. And this sentry tower does not defend against anything, and you probably can even lose a skirmisher here. I'm not sure this is a good sentry tower location. Here would defend quite well. You place a sentry tower here and a sentry tower here, and then you have all this area covered. But yeah, finally he's going to the base and deny food income from ChillerView. This is quite good. denying the house construction as well. He could even be capturing this house here or this house here. Maybe forcing the spearmen to pursue them. They could pick off these women, and if this 3 cav could maybe kill a spear cav alone. No, he hasn't garrisoned the houses. Does not have anymore. He was defending from the cavalry here. And ChillerView is still quite greedy. I mean, it's not bad if the opponent is not punishing you. Especially since with ptolemies you can boom much faster than Romans. So for example, this is a way that ChillerView can get back to this game. He just makes a lot of women, he gets by it unpunished, and then just wins the game by out-booming Schweinepriester. So I really would like to see... Yeah, he's doing more spear cavalry now. This is good for him. He still has a little bit of a lead, but as you can see, ChillerView is getting closer. So I would really like to see trying to punish the Ptolemies player more. And he's going for more farms. In the early game, until 80 population, you want to have at least 6 farms to be able to spam women and men at the same time. Now 7 cavalry can do a lot more damage than just the initial 4. He can deny this food income. He can also harass this wood line here. Oh, the house constructing workers. And he would be unpunished. If he goes strictly to the farms, he goes unpunished here. He can just send the cavalry here, force a reaction from the units here, maybe even kill some women on the houses, so this would be a good target here. As I mentioned before, because the spear cavalry, they are quite tanky against arrows. And there you go. Now, yeah, that's good. At the same time, the camels, where are them? I'm not sure where are the camels. Now he forces a response. He could even snipe some units from ChillerView. He could snipe this skirmisher quite easily. Now he could just go around and then harass back the wood line. Going to DCC is another good option too, especially these exposed women here. At the same time, he has these camels here. So as I mentioned before, I would like to see a sentry tower here to defend better against these camels. This sentry does not defend against them. But as we can see here, Schweinepriester dealing a big blow to ChillerView's economy. 14 killed so far. So, but the problem is that he's having to react against this attack from ChillerView. And ChillerView has killed 3 already, which is quite surprising amount of damage for 3 camel archers. And didn't lose a single one. Yeah, I would like more to see a sentry tower in this location. Or at least leave a single melee cavalry there, because a single melee cavalry can deal with 3 camels quite easily. Or maybe he'll try to target them. He'll try to find them. And Schweinepriester will just pass by them. Now this is, I think this would not be a good time to heal. He could still do a lot of damage here. He could, for example, be trying to capture this house, forcing even more reaction from ChillerView, impacting his wood income, producing houses. He could come back to the CC to do a little more damage with the more healthy cavalry. So I would like to see the cavalry more in this location here, trying to deal more damage. But so far, he's doing a good job. He has quite a bit of a lead. He could even push for a P2 push, or he could even do that before P2, as soon as he gets, for example, up until 100 population. Even if he pushed now, it would be quite strong against what ChillerView has. Especially since ChillerView, as I mentioned, didn't go for the easy skirmishers that you can do at the start with ptolemies. And he's going for the spearmen. I mean, spearmen, they are the solution against spear cavalry. They are actually the only efficient solution to defend against spear cavalry. The thing is that since the spear cavalry need to get close to actually do damage, the spear and the spearmen, they are quite tanky and deal 3 times the damage against spear cavalry. They are good a counter for that. But another problem that I see here with ChillerView is that he has a lot of housing, and he's still using 6 women to build houses, so you don't need to do that. With ptolemies at the start of the game, you can just assign 1 woman to build a house each for 4 women. You get 4 women, and each woman will be building 1 house continuously, and then you never need any other type of assigning units for housing. And ChillerView is still going for a little bit of harass. I mean, 3 cav now, especially since Schweinepriester has such a big lead, won't be able to do much. But since this is not being a good location for ChillerView to defend, he could still do some indirect damage. Or maybe even kill a skirmisher here. Yeah, he can kill that skirmisher quite easily. And he kills that. So as I mentioned, what we have here. Okay, Schweinepriester going for the food income. This is good. Yep. This is what he should be doing, especially if there are no spearmen here. So as the ptolemies, one of the big advantages that you can have here, as well as the Britons with stone, is at the start of the game you can assign spearmen here on the metal, and then you have spearmen very close to the farms if they need to defend. Now, yeah, this is what Schweinepriester should be doing at the start. Just stay here, park, and try to capture houses, force an overreaction from ChillerView, and that's what he's doing. He can pick off these units, these women as well. Yeah, this is good damage. I think ChillerView lost the cavalry that he had here. Now a little bit more micro here, or he will lose this cavalry. He will lose, yeah, he lost 2 already. But still a good amount of damage. They can still harass the house producing women. Come back to the fields if he wants to. Maybe ChillerView does not use the teleport trick. He can even send this, harass this, go around, harass this side, then go around, harass this side. 20 women garrison. Yeah, this is pretty one-sided at the moment. I don't see much possibility for ChillerView to recover. But what he could do possibly to recover in this situation, if it was possible, was to limit the amount of damage that Schweinepriester is able to deal and rely on booming as much as possible using ptolemies. So for example, you make a lot of spearmen, put them in the wood lines, put them on the metal, maybe spread a few spearmen, like 3 or 4 around these fields, and rely on your reaction time capability to garrison the women as soon as possible. This is what he could do. Because going around like this, you won't be able to deny them at all. But what you could do is, for example, put 1 spearman on each farm, put spearmen to gather metal, since you can do skirmishers with the metal. And then you would have a secure, well, a little bit more secure location. So for example, even if you still have to garrison the women, you are at least able to limit the damage. And then rely on the Ptolemy's ability to boom really fast with that. So for the ones that join a little bit later, what happened here is that at the start, Schweinepriester went for the 3 cav start, ChillerView went for early camels. But the problem is the early cav was able to impact a lot of damage on ChillerView's economy. The camels, they are really no match for the spear cavalry, even though they were able to to impact a little bit of indirect damage on Schweinepriester. They are still not quite enough, but here you can see the power of ptolemies. Even with 39 units killed, more technologies, ChillerView is still able to almost get back in population. Now, what I want to see more of ChillerView, for example, in the next games, if he faces something similar to this, is to use more his metal, make more skirmishers, do not go as greedy with women, especially since you don't gain so much with ptolemies by booming with women as much as you gain with other civs, since you are able to have such a versatile amount of resources to use from. You are able to secure these farms here a little bit better with this metal. You are able to make, for example, if this game was started again, make spearmen to defend these locations and try to boom as fast as he can while still defending from the melee cavalry. So for example, Schweinepriester has seen that ChillerView has a lot of spear cavalry, so he goes in defensive mode. And Schweinepriester, even though he's doing good damage with the cavalry, he's not doing as much damage as he could. So being able to defend and try to outboom your opponent would be the play here for him. I'm not sure this is the play for Schweinepriester, committing to more cavalry, because now ChillerView can defend a little bit better. In high numbers, if he can do a lot of damage to the pockets, this could be a good play in that occasion, but I would still try to boom a bit before doing that. But he can do that, yeah. We see quite a heavy imbalance of wood for other resources from Schweinepriester as well. So another thing that he could do is just, you know, sending men to complement this attack, especially since this cavalry will be quite vulnerable to the spearmen. You send these units to go around and do damage on other pockets of workers, since he won't need this wood anytime soon, or at least just send a few bit more of these men to the minerals here. But he will be able to P3 quite quickly if he just finishes the last building for P3. Now what we have here from Schweinepriester is that he has 29 cavalry and ChillerView has 44 infantry. So for example, in equal amounts, the cavalry is much stronger, so he can, for example, in equal amounts destroy pockets of units. For example, if he finds 30 men. Now this pocket of women is dead. This is dead as well, if he wants to. Okay, do damage, now go around, yes, and then go to another pocket. So this is what he could be doing. Distracting these units on minerals, which are quite important for ptolemies, going around, denying the house constructing workers, denying the wood lines here. So the strong thing about these types of cavalry rushes when you have a critical mass is that if the opponent has a lot of spread out workers, you can target each pocket separately. So for example, this cavalry, after this, he could for example just flee from this fight and destroy this pocket, and then force the units to go around to this location, then go around and deny the women here. Maybe if ChillerView has assigned units for this wood here, deny that pocket as well. Just go around, you don't need to engage in these big fights. You don't need to stay here, just go around and deny the other pockets. And then you are denying completely the economy of the opponent, because he's always busy, he's always moving units around, trying to defend. The only way to defend that from ChillerView would be to mass men in just a single location. So for example, having all workers gathering wood on the same wood patch. And investing in more spearmen. I mean, these are good trades for ChillerView, don't get me wrong, but I think it would be more efficient if he just went around and tried. Oh, okay, he brought them in. Okay, this is good. Yeah, this was what I mentioned before. Since you have so much wood, just get some gatherers and then destroy the other pockets while these units are distracted here. And then when these men are finished here, they just go around, scout what ChillerView is doing, what are the places where he's getting resources from, and deny even more pockets. Now for Schweinepriester here, what he could do, I think would be actually quite good to secure his lead, would be an aggressive CC in this location here. This location is good too, then he can make his fort here, but an aggressive CC here would be quite good for him, because he would be able to deny these minerals, which are important for ptolemies. He would be able to deny a military colony in any surroundings here, and he would have open access to the CC here. So make territory available in this location, make a fort in this position, with the territory from the fort, make walls, and then bring the katas in a location there. Or even rams. So since ChillerView does not have a military colony here, Schweinepriester could read that ChillerView does not have any sword infantry. And as I mentioned before on the previous game, sword infantry is the only effective anti-ram unit for ptolemies. And since he does not have that, it would be quite hard to defend from a ram push. For example, if Schweinepriester decided at this moment to not do anything except investing on rams, he could do that, have 6 rams and destroy everything that he can here, and ChillerView would have nothing to, would not have nothing to do to be able to prevent that. Okay, now he could deny these minerals here, deny this wood line, exert map control with the fort that he could make in this location or camp if he wants to. He could garrison the rams, send to this barracks, and if the opponent targets the rams, just get back to the safety of the camp. But Schweinepriester is being quite respectful. He's going safe, I think, so he's not opting to do that. And this is the right play. If you, more often than not, it's better than going risky. Just strangle your opponent, but it also gives your opponent more space to breathe and try to recover as well. And that's dangerous with Ptolemy, since they can boom quite easily. Now ChillerView, if a bit of idle workers, okay, he uses them. He goes back to house producing. And Schweinepriester not going for the tech upgrades. Okay, he has wood. I think I would like to see food as well, since he has only 8 farms. 8 for the late game, I would not recommend that. You would want to have at least 9 to 10. Or even 12 if you're doing cavalry, as we are seeing here with Schweinepriester. No military upgrades. Now, one way in which you can exert more of your lead into translate more of your lead into actual results is, for example, to take military upgrades. So, for example, you have a lot of wood and metal. Take the armor upgrade, because the armor upgrade just costs woods and metal. Okay, he's going for the blacksmith now. Yeah, that's the play here. And then go for the armor upgrade, I guess. But since he has also a bit of stone, I think the range upgrade would be good too. 2 rams and garrison them with this amount of units. I mean, ChillerView has a little bit of quite considerable amount of units at the moment. The problem is he does not have a military colony, and even if Schweinepriester does not see what is actually in the territory, he can see that there are no bubbles in this territory here, so he can assume quite safely that there is no military colony, and he does not have to worry about swordsmen destroying his rams. He just needs to neutralize the slingers or women or pikemen targeting his rams. And he's going for the kill here, not even going for the towers first. While at the same time distracting the economy, going around destroying pockets. Yeah, he's executing this quite well. Maybe he could ungarrison here and destroy these slingers. Okay, he has 2 more here. He made a military camp. Okay, and going for Marans. Yeah, ChillerView has no response for that, because he does not have the military coin. I think now would be a good time to garrison. He would kill this woman quite fast. Yeah, this game, we should be able to see the resign from ChillerView quite soon. Okay, no military upgrades as well. Yeah, this is quite a big of a lead at the moment. I think ChillerView should be safe to assume that this is not a place that he can recover from, and we might be able to see the GG soon. Okay, and GG. Good game. Really nice harass from Schweinepriester. Always risky, rushing ptolemies. But since ChillerView went for the camel start, I think that was a good move. I'm not sure if Schweinepriester knew that ChillerView was going for the camel start, but if that was the case, it was a good read. If ChillerView did not went for camels at the start, went for a safe start, especially since he did not have hunt, went for spearmen, went for infantry, he would be much safer and would be much easier to defend from the early spear cav harass, I think. Ptolemies are very strong. And as you can see here, constant harass since the start. Yeah. This was a very good harass from Schweinepriester and ensure his lead. Okay. We will see any other good game here soon. This game has just over. Okay, I think I'll end this stream now. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.